Chag Sameach and welcome everybody. I'm so thrilled to be joined by Cantor Warshawski. We're here to present for you the seventh day of Pesach. We're excited to be davening together and to share our davening with you on this video. Please open your Sidurim and follow along with us in the prayers. We'll have a moment for Torah discussion later on in the service, but for now, let's just jump right in and begin. Seventh day of Pesach, the service begins on page 105 in the middle of the page.
הגיבור לא נצח והנורא בנורתך המלך היושב על כיסא רם ונישא שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו וכתוב לנו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נאוות תהילה בפי ישרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם
By the mouth of the upright you, God, are extolled. By the words of the righteous, of the tzaddikim, you are praised. By the tongue of the faithful you are acclaimed. By the soul of the saintly you are hallowed. And now Yishtabach, page 106.
Yishtabach shimcha la'ad malkeinu
Melech hagadol v'hakadosh b'shamayim u'ba'aretz.
Berachot v'hodot me'ata ve'ad olam baruch ato Adonai El melech gadol batishbachot El hahodot Adon haniflot הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך העולמים.
Amen. Let's turn the page now to page 107, the blessing in the middle of the page.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור ובורא חושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל.
Blessed are you, God, the one who forms light but also creates darkness, the one who creates everything, and Oseh Shalom, who makes peace. And now we'll turn to page 110, to the bottom of the page, and then moving right along to the blessings that will lead us to the Shema, page 110 on the bottom.
ליל ברוך לימוניתנו למלך החי וקיים זמרות ימינו ותשבחות ישמיעו
Ki hu levado poel givurot. A series of praises that God champions justice, brings healing, sows righteousness, creates new life, sovereign of wonders.
המחדש בטובו בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית המחדש בטובו בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית כאמור לעושה אורים גדולים כאמור לעושה אורים גדולים כי לעולם חסדו אור חדש אשר ציון תאיר, ונזכחו לנו מהר ליאורו, ברוך אתה אדוני.
Shalom.
יוצר המאורות.
Amen. Page 111 begins the prayer, Ahava Rabbah, deep is your love for us, God.
אהבה רבה אהבתנו, אדוני אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה ויתרה, חמלת עלינו. אבינו מלכנו, בעבור אבותינו, שבטחו בך, אבינו מלכנו, ותלמדם חוקי חיים, כן תחננו תלמדנו, אבינו האב הרחמן, המרחם רחם עלינו, ותן בליבנו להבין ולהשכיל לשמוע, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות, ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה. והערנו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, ולא נמוש לעולם ולא נמוש לעולם כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא בטחנו, נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך. והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו גאוניות מארצנו, כי אל פועל ישוע הותרת ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון, וקרבת לשמך הגדול אסתר באמת, להודות לך ולייחדך באהבה, ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
God, bring us safely from the four corners of the earth and lead us in dignity to your holy land, to our holy land. For you, God, are the source of deliverance. You've called us from all peoples, constantly drawing us nearer to you, that we may lovingly offer you praise, proclaiming your oneness in the Shema. Praised are you, God, who loves the people Israel. And now, as we've gathered together our tzitzit, our symbol of our prayer for unity and for love amongst the Jewish people, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Cantor, let's take a moment to reflect on these beautiful words from the second paragraph and third paragraph of the Shema, words from our Torah and Devarim, and then in Bamidbar. Ito yoreu malkosh ve'asav tadeganecha. Page 113.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וניתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Now let's turn to the bottom of page 114. We'll begin to sing the words of Mi Chamocha, who is like our God.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ledor b'kodesh, norot tehilot, osef eleh. שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמחה שפת היום, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופדי חינומך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני Israel.
Amen. The Amidah for Yom Tov begins on page 123. This is our opportunity for private prayer. Cantor will lead us in some of the opening brachot. But then as we continue on, feel free to offer the prayers that are found within the Siddur, or to search your own heart and to offer the prayers that come from within you as well. Page 123b, the text begins, and then we'll continue on adding in the insertions for Chag HaMatzot, Zman Cherutenu, the festival of Matzah, the moment, the season of our freedom. Page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Vehanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אהבות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים, אתה רב להושיע. מחלקי לחיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמנתו להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. מה אתה בחרתם? יום חג המצות הזה, זמן חירותנו מקרא קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. ביום חג המצות הזה, זוכרנו בו לטובה ובגדנו בו לברכה, והושיענו בו לחיים.
It occurred to me while I was davening that this Torah reading that we do on the seventh day of Pesach, the reading for Parshat Bishalach, includes Shirat Hayam, includes the Song of the Sea, the song that our ancestors sang. The moment they crossed into freedom, this song just welled up in their hearts, and they chanted together in unison. Somehow they all knew the words to this beautiful song, and as an expression of their joy and their freedom, sang together. And I think we can reflect that same spirit now as we turn to our Hallel service, our extra boost of ruach and musicality through the service. It begins on page 133. Let's start Hallel.
Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, melech haolam, Hashem kideshanu b'mitzvosav לקרוא את
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et ha'halel. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Abdei Adonai, Hallelujah, et Shem Adonai yehi Shem Adonai mevorach, be'ata be'ad olam, ממזרח שמש עד מבוא, מעולה שם אדוני רם על כל גויים אדוני, על השמיים כבודו, מי כאדוני אלוהינו, המגביל השבת המשכיל לראות בשמיים ובארץ, מקימי מי עפר דול, מי אשפות ירים אביון להושיבי, עם נדיבי עמו, מושיבי יקר את הבית, עם הבנים שמחה, hallelujah. Let's continue singing this same beautiful Pesach song as we go into B'tzeit Yisrael at the bottom of the page. B'tzeit Yisrael miMitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'am lo eis hayta Yehuda lekodesho, Yisrael mamsherotav, hayam rav hayanos, hayarden yisov leyachar eharim rakedu cheyelim, kivot kivnei tzon, malecha hayom kitanus, hayarden yisov leyachar eharim, תרקדו חיילים כבוד כבני צאן, מלפני אדון חולי הארץ, מלפני אלוהך יעקב, ההופכי הצור, הגמיים,
And now on the bottom of page 134, this prayer which begins with the words Adonai Zacharanu Yevarech, that God remembers us with blessing, just as we remember God through the Chagim, through our practices, through our mitzvot, we're remembered by God as well in our prayer. Page 134.
Adonai Zacharanu Yevarech, יברך את בית ישראל, יברך את בית אהרון, יברך יראי אדוני, הקטנים עם הגדולים, יוסף אדוני עליכם, עליכם ויום עליכם, ברוכים עליהם לאדוני, עושה שמיים בארץ, השמיים שמיים לאדוני, והארץ נתן לבני אדם, לא המתים יהללויה, ולא כל ירדי דומה, ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם, hallelujah.
Now on the bottom of page 135, Ma Ashiv, how shall I repay? God. What can I give back?
אני עבדך.
לך זבח תודה, ובשם אדוני אקרא, נדורי לאדוני אשלם נגדנו לכל עמו, בחצרות בית אדוני בתוכך ירושלים, הללויה. Continue with Hallelujah on the top of page 136 with a special tune for Hodu for Pesach. Hallelujah, et Adonai kol goyim, shabechu kol haumim, ki gavar aleinu chasdo, ve'emet Adonai olam, hallelujah. Oh, do l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo, yomarna Yisrael, ki le'olam chasdo, yomruna beitaron, ki le'olam chasdo. Yomruna yirei Adonai, ki le'olam chasdo.
מן המיצר קראתי ענן במרחב.
Min hamitzar karatia, anani v'hamerchavia. Min hamitzar karatia, anani v'hamerchavia. Anani, anani v'hamerchavia. Anani, anani v'hamerchavia.
Adonai li lo ira. God is with me. What shall I fear?
זה השאלה אדוני צדיקים.
Let's pick up at the bottom of the page, singing Pitchu li Sharei Tzedek, open for me the gates of triumph that I may enter to praise Adonai, going straight through to the top of page 137, the Odecha ki ani tani as well. Pitchu li, last two lines of page 136. Pitchu li Sharei Tzedek, Abo v'amodeya. Sharei tzedek, avo v'amodeya. Ze ashar Adonai tzadik shavomo. Ze ashar Adonai tzadik shavomo. Odecha ki ani tani v'atehi lishua. Odecha ki ani tani v'atehi lishua. Even moasu abonim hayet ale rosh pina. Even moasu abonim hayet ale rosh pina. V'yet Adonai hayet hazot not
Eino.
Veit Adonai ha'et ha'asot not beineinu ze hayom asa Adonai nagira v'nishecho ze hayom asa Adonai nagira v'nishecho. Ana Hashem Hoshiana for Passover. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Ana Adonai Haslichana. Ana Adonai Haslichana.
Baruch haba b'shem Adonai barachnu elevate.
Twice. Yisro Hag.
כי לך טוב להודות לשמך ולזמר, כי מעולם ועד עולם התועל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מעולם, ותשכח.
Amen.
Cantor Yesher Koach on a beautiful and a festive Hallel. I couldn't help but notice as you were singing, we were joined by a special guest, and it really couldn't have come at a better time. Welcome, Rabbi Klein. You've really...
Hi, guys. Hi. It's good
Hey,
to
Rabbi.
be here. I looked everywhere for you. I didn't find you in the sanctuary. I didn't find you in the
Oh, we sent you a note. Find us on
Yeah,
Zoom.
you put me on a wild goose chase, you guys.
Well, in that way, you were much like our ancestors who were wandering through the desert in this roundabout way.
Yeah, but I'm here. It's great to be with you guys. And you know what? You know what is different about all other Zooms? We're wearing ties, all of us, at the same time.
That's true. That's true.
Zoom So you really came at the perfect time, Rabbi Klein, because we were just about to open up the Chumash and take a look at this wonderful, dramatic Torah reading for the seventh day of Pesach. The reading that is taken from the Parsha Beshalach, which literally means to send out. That at this moment that Pharaoh sent our people out, well, what happened after that? And I had a few thoughts as I was going through, but I'm glad you're here because you'll be able to share your perspective and your wisdom as well. The first thing that
I'll be here for the color commentary.
Stick around. We want to.
You take the lead, guys.
So you open up the Parsha, and the first thing that jumped out to me immediately, it comes really from the first verse. Vayihi b'shalach Pharaoh, that were sent out, and we find right there in that first verse of the Parsha, Lo nacham Elohim derech eretz plishtim, that God decided not to send us by way of the Philistines, even though the Torah says, Ki karov hu. That actually would have been the simplest way, the shortest route. But instead we get this next verse, Vayasev Elohim et ha'am derech hamidbar. That instead we were turned about in this sort of roundabout way through the desert. And that word Vayasev, you might recognize from the word sivivon, right? A dreidel that spins and spins. In that sense, the Torah is telling us that from the moment we were sent out, God had it in God's mind that we would spin around and take this roundabout path through the desert. And it's really a classic question that our sages ask, but I want to bring it up for discussion. Why? why didn't God allow us to just go straight over to Mount Sinai to accept the Torah after all the drama that took place for us to leave Egypt? Wouldn't it have been so much simpler if we had gone straight to Sinai, don't ask questions, receive the Torah, beeline it to Eretz Yisrael, and save a lot of time and energy? Why this way of introducing the story of our people that we were really spending some extra time wandering through the desert? What does it have to teach us that we weren't ready for the Torah?
I can answer that. Maybe.
I've got an idea.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
You know,
a great question.
the Cantor's wearing the black robe. He goes first.
Yeah, I do have my home black robe on. That's it.
Yeah, home black robe. Right.
Well, I love to look at the Bible as allegory and as story in a way. So to me, it's just a perfect mashul for life. You don't just always get what you want or even maybe what you deserve right away. You have to work for it a little bit. Sometimes, as the saying goes, you've got to go halfway around the world to find out that what you want is in your own backyard. So sometimes taking a direct path doesn't give you an understanding of the sacrifice that it takes to have to go through something and become something better so that you can accept what you move forward to. You know, you got to learn a little something along the way. That's what I would think, because it's a beautiful question.
It's a lovely answer. I mean, I think there are probably many lovely answers to this question.
Exactly.
One point I've taught before is this, that there's something called the dignity of the process. That sometimes we just need to give, whether it's the God giving the Israelite people or we giving other people in our lives, people we meet, the dignity of the process, the opportunity to grow, to outgrow some of the things they need to outgrow, like the Israelites needed to begin. It's a hard job to outgrow 400 years of slavery, and until they could reach that point of being ready to accept really the challenges of peoplehood, of nationhood. And I think when you boil it down, look, we all have people in our lives that we just know we need to give them the dignity of growing, of emerging into the people that we believe they can become. We need to give them time to do that. And so we're not always ready for Sinai, but we are ready to grow and to approach Sinai. And we should be ready to be patient as we allow that to happen.
I think patience is a great word to hone in
Yeah.
on. So often we want people to change, but on the same token, we can't necessarily control and force that change. We have to allow them to come to it on their own. And certainly that is a process. It might even be a painful process or a trying process. The fact that the setting for this entire scene is the midbar, is the wilderness, I think says a lot. That the midbar really is a difficult place to be. It's not a place where there is a lot of growth necessarily. It's a barren place. And so the fact of our growth in the midbar, in the wilderness, I think says that much more, that we were able to grow in those conditions, the trying conditions.
Right. Yeah.
It's a great question. It's a beautiful question.
There's more to talk about on that verse. I wanted to hit on two or three other verses before we resume the davening, but just thinking how well this idea mirrors the growth that we're all in right now as we count the Omer and as we continue to count these days of quarantine, looking toward an end. Can we make each and every day count? Can we allow ourselves to grow in some way through this trial that we're currently in?
You know, I wish that people, not just in this year, but especially in this year, would appreciate the value of the mitzvah of Sfirat HaOmer, of counting every day for 49 days, and believing, as our teachers believed, as our sages believed, that it's not just a question of counting another day. It's about using another 24 hours to somehow face some of the critical personal challenges that we face and trying our best to see our way forward day by day, day by day, day by day. And I look at the Omer as a precious opportunity. You know, there were years where maybe I forgot a day along the way, but I don't forget it for the last God knows how many years, you know, for the last God knows how many years. I mean, absolutely made sure, because I believe in this mitzvah wholeheartedly of taking a day, seizing it, grasping all the blessings you can from it, appreciating it, and yes, maybe even so more because we're in this quarantine isolation. There's a lot of growth potential in these days for each one of us.
So one rabbi recommended starting a diary if you're not someone who journals, to journal through this Omer period. And in that way, you can really chart your growth and see the growth, to look back at the end of the Omer at what you were writing from the first few days. I think this season in particular, there would be a lot to write about. But I
had a thought that
sure.
Rabbi Klein, you had said at the Minyan, the one of the famous phrases about it, to count the days to make your days count, that we're all familiar with, on some level. And I think everything you're saying has one word underneath it, and I think it's so important. It's like taking kavanah for all the days, and I think that's really, the importance that you take the time to do it. And certainly for me, I know that that's an important thing. Sometimes you just let it go, and I think that's really what you're saying there, to have that intentionality of the days and how to live and to move forward. I just think that's beautiful.
Yeah, you might be mindful too. So I want to point us to another moment in the Parsha. This is really a wonderful and fruitful discussion. Another moment in the Parsha. This is the moment of real drama, because the people have made it, our ancestors have made it to Yam Suf, to the Sea of Reeds. We look behind us, we see Pharaoh's armies closing in. They're going to be there any second. We look in front of us, nowhere to go. Yam Suf. And in that moment of real fear and just not knowing what's going to happen next, the people cry out in prayer to God. As you might expect, they cry out in prayer. But God's response in that moment is surprising. What does God say when the people are there praying at Yam Suf, crying out, God save us, God save us? Vayomer, this is now in chapter 14, verse 15. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe. So God says to Moses at this moment, their leader, Ma titzak elai. What are you crying out to me for? Ma titzak elai. Daber el b'nei Yisrael v'yisa'u. Tell the people, this isn't the moment for sitting around and crying out. This is the moment to dive in and take action. This is the moment to move. And the next topic that I want to bring up, the next question I want to bring up, is how we achieve that balance in life. It's important, certainly, to have a prayerfulness and to know when to step back, to pause, and to pray. In other moments, we just have to jump right in. We don't have time to wait around in prayer. We have to take action immediately. How do we find that balance, especially when our sages tell us we shouldn't rely on a miracle? Sometimes we really do need to just jump in and take action.
I'm going to say 2 or 3 quick things, and I'll really try to be brief. Number one, in terms of, why do you crying out for me? Here you have a paradigm shift, okay? It's what I was saying before. God had said, God was saying, look, you've had 7 weeks. It's not the longest amount of time, but, you've had 7 days. It's not the longest amount of time, but we got to start getting you to walk on your own 2 feet.
Time to grow up.
Time, because up until then, the children of Israel have been totally, utterly God dependent. And it's time, if they're going to be a nation, they need to be able to walk even into danger by themselves. So what you have also is this. You mentioned, Rabbi, the issue of haste. Don't forget, we left Egypt in haste. The dough didn't have a chance to rise. And there's a big message there. And I spoke about this at the Seder. The big message is sometimes you're given a moment in time to do something that you won't have a chance to do again. Okay? If you don't go walking into that sea at that moment, you may not have that moment ever again. If you don't answer that call to help someone at that moment, if you're going to think about it and equivocate, you may not have that moment again. If you don't declare a state of Israel when everybody is saying to you, oh, don't do it, the Arabs are going to overrun us, we're going to be, and if you're not Ben Gurion who says, you know what, we waited 2,000 years, we're declaring a state today, and we're not waiting a day longer, that's that's what you do.
And we're not
That's
waiting
how
for
you show.
Messiah to come and herald it. We're just jumping.
Exactly. You have to jump in, and you have to show that you're a people ready to shoulder your own burdens in life.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You know, in that way, it really is a moment of growing up for the people to say we've relied on Hashem through everything, and now for God to turn around and say, "This is your time to jump in." And
Did your parents ever throw you into a pool and say, "Time to swim"?
Right, right. And if you have an issue, I'll carry you, right? And I still love you, but now's your moment. Now's your moment.
Can I bring up one point, because I think it's really, really so important for this moment? You know, when they do get to the other side, one of the most marvelous moments of Torah is that Miriam and the women take out their tambourines. Okay? Now, you're going into the wilderness. You're going into you're exiting Egypt. You're running out of Egypt in haste. You don't even have time for the dough to leaven, but you're taking your tambourines. What is that all about? What is that all about? And what it's saying, I think, is this, that, you know, you don't know when something is going to turn from bad to good. You don't know when the agony of slavery and of walking through that desert is going to turn into a moment of celebration. You don't know when fortunes are going to turn. But when it happens, Miriam is saying, having those tambourines, we're going to be ready to celebrate. We're going to be ready to really celebrate that moment. And I think all of us, you know, as we go through this, and it's wearing us down a little bit. All right, we put up a good persona, you know, we try to soldier on, but it wears you down. This is not fun, but it's not as bad as it could be. There'll come a time when the switch will flick, and, you know, we'll flip on, and we'll be able to celebrate. And Miriam's saying is, get ready for that time. Have your tambourines ready, because when we celebrate the end of all of this, we are going to have a celebration, tambourines and everything. So that's what I love in this parsha right now. The belief that we're going to get through this Red Sea. The sea will part. We'll get the cure. We'll get the vaccine. People will get better. People will stop dying.
Love it.
And then we celebrate, just like Miriam and the women did.
And the first impulse is to sing and to be together, united as one people singing together.
We'll do that in the shul. I hope before too long.
I'll bring the timbrels, gentlemen.
Yes, we're counting on it.
God willing, a couple weeks, we'll all be together. We'll be just like our ancestors who were singing as they crossed through the sea, together in person, singing together, offering our praise together, and celebrating together.
Thank you, guys. Great discussion. If you don't mind, I'll just be a third wheel for the rest of this. I promise I won't speak. Okay. So
hearing your voice.
This is your time. I'm here as the third wheel for the rest of the davening.
Well, good to have your presence. And
all right. Betty is going to gag me, but I'll.
It's like a well-balanced tricycle right here. There we go.
So, Cantor, we do have some more davening. Certainly. We want to get to Ashrei now, and then we'll start to look toward Musaf. Why don't we turn now to the Ashrei? Okay, it can be found on page 151 here in this blue Siddur.
Ashrei.
Ashrei yoshvei beitecha od yalalu chasela.
Ashrei ha'am shechachalo, Ashrei ha'am shadonai Eloha.
Tehila leDavid aromim chalohai hamelech v'yavarcha shimcha le'olam ba'ed.
V'echo yom avarchecha v'yahalela shimcha le'olam bo'ed.
Gadol Adonai muhulal meod v'ligdulato ein cheker.
Gedor ledor yishabach ma'asecha ugvurotecha yagidu.
Hadar kivod hodecha v'divrei niflotecha asicha.
Be'ezuz nerotecha yomeru dulatecha saprena.
Zecher avtuvecha yabiu v'tzidkatecha yiranenu.
Anun v'rachum Adonai erech apayim udo chased.
Tov Adonai lakol v'rachamav al kol ma'asav.
Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha v'chasidecha yevarchucha.
Kevod malchutecha yomeru gevuratecha yidaberu.
Neodia livnei Adam gevurotav ugvod hadar malchuto.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
שמח אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
עיני כל אליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם את אכלם בעתו.
פתח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אדוני לכל קורב, לכל אשר יקראו באמת.
רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם.
שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל רשעים ישמיד.
תהילת אדוני ידבר פי, ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד. ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah.
Now let's turn our attention to the Musaf Amidah for Yom Tov for festivals. It can be found in the Siddur on page 166b. Cantor will lead us through the opening blessings, and as we continue on individually, we can offer the words of our prayer book or simply pray the words of our own hearts. But we'll begin together on 166b, and then if you are following in this Siddur, continue on beginning on page 170.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avodeinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Vehanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אהבות, ומביא גואלים לבניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים, אתה רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר, מחמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצליח ישועה, ונאמנתו להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים. טוב, את יום חג המצות הזה, זמן חירותנו מקרא קודש זה, זכר יציאת מצרים. נו אבינו מלכנו מלך במלכות ולמהירו באופרים נשאלנו מכוחו. ויש מוסף יום חג המצות הזה, נעשה ונקרב ונרוויח ומזול זלזול נרוויח וגזו בזול חגים שם. מבירודך גמור.
Cantor, shall we continue on with Ein Kelohenu?
Yes, I would love that. And
182.
I actually wanted to take a quick moment. First of all, thank you both for including me in that beautiful discussion. Thank you both, rabbis. Appreciate it tremendously. It's always a pleasure learning from and with you. I wanted to just take this opportunity. I would have liked to at different times during the services introduce something here or there, a new melody. And so I want to share a melody from my background. This is a melody for Ein Kelohenu, a beautiful melody that I like to use on holidays and festivals. And it comes from the synagogue in the city I was born in Basel, Switzerland. And it was written by the choir director there. So I'd like to sing this Ein Kelohenu. Please join along if you get the melody. It's fairly repetitive but beautiful. And hopefully we'll get to sing it together in synagogue, all as a family together. Ein Kelohenu, ein Adonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, mich Eloheinu, mich Adonenu, mich Emalkeinu, mich Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Cantor, just gorgeous. I know what I'll be humming as I do my cooking for Yom Tov. I love it.
That would sound so festive to me, like the Jews are just going, Ein Kelohenu.
It's great. It's great.
Thank you.
So let's rise now for Aleinu as we lead toward the conclusion of our service.
Aleinu neshabeach ladon hakol latet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu ki goyei haratzot velo samanu ki mishpechot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נותן שמיים ויעשה לארץ כמו שבגנו בשמיים. כי אמרו שרים את ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
So Cantor and Rabbi, I say to you both, Yesher Koach, it really was a joy to share these moments of prayer and discussion with both of you. And to our viewers at home, we wish you a Chag Sameach. It should be a healthy and a meaningful rest of the festival of Passover. We miss you, and we can't wait to pray along with you and to see you all very soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi.
Close with a rousing Adon Olam, page 187.
Of course, pleasure.
Okay.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יצירה להתנסה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא באחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יראה ותפארה
והוא אחד
להכילו להכירה
בלי ראשית
בלי תכלית
בלי תכלית
ולא העוז והמשרה אדון
עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא להתנסה בחפצו כל
אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אלי
והוא אלי
וחי גואלי
לחי גואלי
וצור חבלי ביצרה והוא ניסי
והוא ניסי
ומנוס לי
מנת
מנת כוסי ביום אקרא
ביעדו
אפקיד רוחי בהישן והעירה
ועם רוחי
יביאתי
יביאתי
אדוני לי ואלוהי רע
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא להתנסה בחפצו כל
אזי מלך שמו נקרא אזי מלך שמו נקרא
חג שמח, good yantif.
Chag Sameach, Rabbi Klein, Chag Sameach, Rabbi Dermer, and Chag Sameach to all of you.
Yash Tochachem. See you in a while.
Yashkoach, good yantif.
Bye-bye.